Last lesson, we showed examples. Today, we flip the dynamic, we make the model interview us, before it answers. By the end of this lesson, you will know the interview me pattern, instructing the model to ask you questions before it answers. This single pattern prevents more bad first drafts than any other prompting technique. It is the meta pattern that makes every other prompt pattern stronger. What is the interview me pattern? It is telling the model, before you answer, ask me clarifying questions one at a time, until you have enough context to give me a great answer. Instead of answering immediately and guessing, the model interviews you, then answers with full context. Here is the prompt in 3 lines. I want you to help me with your task. Before you answer, interview me. Ask me one question at a time, until you have enough context. Then give me your best answer. That is the whole pattern. 3 lines that turn a guessing model into a careful consultant. 3 lines turn a guessing model into a careful consultant. Why does interview me work? Because most prompts hide assumptions. Build me a website. For what audience? What tech stack? What budget? What timeline? The model guesses, usually wrong. Interview me forces the model to surface those assumptions before answering. The result is a much better first answer. Here is what an interview me exchange looks like in practice. You ask for help picking a database. The model asks one question at a time. What kind of data? How much data? Complex joins. After 3 questions, it has enough context to recommend Postgres with confidence. Compare that to the cold prompt, what database should I use, which would have produced a generic list of options. How many questions should the model ask? For a simple task, 2 or 3. For a complex task, 5 to 7. More than 7, the model is being thorough, let it run. If it starts repeating itself, you can stop and tell it, enough, give me your answer now. You are always in control. 3 to 5 questions. That is usually enough to give the model what it needs. When does interview me win? Big tasks, picking a database, designing a system, planning a project. Tasks where you don't know what you don't know. Tasks where wrong assumptions are expensive. Tasks where the model's first guess would probably be wrong. For tiny tasks, fix this typo, format this date, interview me is overkill. Just ask, when is interview me overkill? Simple translations. Format conversions. Lookups, what is the capital of France? Well-specified code changes, change this function name everywhere. For these tasks, just ask directly. Adding interview me would slow down a process that didn't need slowing down. Use your judgment, variants of the pattern you can use. Ask me up to 5 questions, caps the interview. Ask me one batch of questions, lets the model ask several at once. Interview me, then propose 3 options, useful when you want alternatives. Interview me, then write the code, useful when you want a concrete deliverable. The core pattern is the same. The wrapper changes, variants on the pattern, but the core idea is the same. Surface assumptions before answering. Interview me combines well with the other patterns. Add role-playing, you are a senior architect, interview me before answering. Add few shot, show an example of the Q&A format you want. Add grounding, interview me, then read this document, then answer. Pattern stack. They don't compete. The strongest prompts often use several patterns together. If you remember one idea, most bad answers come from hidden assumptions. Interview me forces those assumptions into the open. 3 to 5 questions is usually enough. Skip it for tiny tasks, use it for everything else. This single pattern will save you more bad first drafts than any other technique in this course. What if the model asks too many questions? Set a cap up front, ask me up to 5 questions. Or stop it after 5, enough, give me your answer now. Often, too many questions means your task was too vague. Refine the task, then re-interview. The model will ask fewer questions when the task is clearer. Quality of the model's questions matters. Good questions are specific, about your situation, not generic. Open-ended, can't be answered with yes or no alone. Ordered, most important first. And they build on your previous answers, showing the model is paying attention. If you get vague or repetitive questions, your prompt probably needs work. Here's a longer example, making an architecture decision. You tell the model you're building a web app and to interview you. The model asks about scale. You answer. It asks about read versus write patterns. You answer. It asks about compliance. You answer. After 3 or 4 rounds, the model recommends Postgres plus a Redis cache, tailored to your actual situation. Compare that to asking cold, what database should I use, which gets you a generic list of options. Interview me combines beautifully with other patterns. Interview me plus roleplay, you get an expert consultant who asks the right questions. Interview me plus few shot, the model sees a format example, then interviews you before filling it in. Interview me plus grounding, interview me, then read this doc, then answer. Pattern stack. The strongest prompts often use 3 or 4 patterns together. Quick recap. Interview me means the model asks you questions first, then answers. Usually 3 to 5 questions is enough. It wins for big and ambiguous tasks. It is overkill for tiny well-specified tasks. And it stacks with roleplay, few shot, and grounding for even stronger prompts. Here is a small exercise. Pick a real question you have right now, about work, about a hobby, about a decision. Use the 3-line interview me prompt. Let the model interview you. Compare the answer to how it would have been if you'd asked cold. Most people are surprised by how much better the interviewed answer is. And that wraps our prompting block. You now have 4 patterns. The basics: context, clarity, criteria. Role-playing, assign a role. Few shot, show examples. And interview me, surface assumptions before answering. Use them together. They make every AI conversation stronger, in any tool. Coming up next, memory. We have spent 4 lessons on how to talk to an AI. Now we cover how to teach it about your project, persistently, without re-explaining every time. The first memory mechanism is the project_agents.md file. That is the next lesson. Surface assumptions before answering. The meta pattern that prevents bad first drafts. 4 prompting patterns. Use them together. Thanks for spending this time with me. Next, we learn about memory, the project_agents.md file.